So driving for dollars. A lot of people like, well, Rick, what is this driving for dollars? I want you to understand the driving for dollars. If I did not have a budget to do marketing, meaning I basically had gas money and I'm utilizing the free wholesaling.com training, the fastest way to get to a motivated seller is go find a house that has a problem. How do you do that? This is kind of a no-brainer. You get in your car and you go to your local whatever market that you want to attack. So you want to stay below at or below the median average price in the area that you want to buy. Hopefully it's locally. And you're going to go find properties that have issues. They're going to show signs of them. And if you do this, the only money you're going to put it is your time and the money in your gas tank. Okay. Yes, it's a little bit of pain in the butt, but it's not that big of a deal. I can go out and collect 100, 150 leads within an hour and a half. We do it all the time. Guys, I did this for 5 years. I nonstop driving for dollars. It's cheap. It's effective. It works. Is it sexy? No, it's not. So pay attention while you're out there. Listen to your favorite podcasts, something educational, hopefully something that inspires you, and get those addresses. As opposed, you can go out and buy a 10,000 list. You can skip trace that entire list. You can cold call it. I'm telling you guys, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm giving you today a cheat sheet of how to beat every other realtor, wholesaler, I don't care, subject to person. Every time I buy a property and we get like a monster deal, I look around, the garage is caved in. There's a blue tarp on it, has high grass. I've probably driven by the property a half dozen times. And if I just noted the address down, I probably could have done a deal for almost zero marketing dollars. And that's what I want to teach you today. So yes, this is more of a sweat equity play, but guys, even when I had tons of funds to do my marketing in my company, I still used driving for dollars and do to this day. So let's get into it. Okay. What is driving for dollars? We're going to do a step-by-step breakdown of how to use driving for dollars for massive wholesale retail profits. The reason is you're finding the ugliest, the most tired houses right off the bat. And these people ideally should have the most motivation. Okay. So what is the definition of driving for dollars? It's just a process in which you drive around any neighborhood you choose. It can be local, it can be virtual, and you look for distressed properties and efforts to contact these owners first for a wholesale deal. Remember, if nobody else is contacting him and you're the one who makes the effort to it, you probably have the best shot in getting the deal. So what are the tools needed for driving for dollars? Guys, this is really basic, but you've got to understand this, okay? As long as you have a valid driver's license, I think you're highly qualified for this, but we're not even going to stop there. Car is the most efficient method, but I've had people do it on a bike. If you're a runner like me and you're a really fast runner, you got good running shoes, put your running shoes on, take a 5-10 mile run, do it early in the morning, and you're going to have to find a way to write down when you drive by these houses. Or guys, if you go on long walks, like I walk in the neighborhood where I live, I'm constantly looking for something changing. And this is how driving for dollars for work. So rule number one, if you have a car that works, but if not, be creative. You guys are smart. And if you're willing to do a deal, you'll get it done. The next one is do not complicate this. Okay. Right here, guys. Yellow pad and a pen and paper. Honestly, it's the only requirement I have when doing it. So I did it off a yellow pad forever, for 5 years. I'm still a yellow pad junkie. No, I'm not a lawyer, but I like to write stuff down. Now, is it the most efficient way? Probably not. I'll be brutally honest with you. I'm old school, but I'm telling you, if you're going to use any type of technology, just make sure you got a backup pen and pad in your car. Okay. Now, if you have a cell phone, which is 80% of you on this live, then you're good to go. It'll have a camera built into it. The cell phone helps out a lot. I'm not going to lie to you, but honestly, I did this for a very, very long time. I used to have one of those like really brick phones. I'm showing my age now. And I only called if I was going to get mugged in the car. So, and I stopped marketing in those neighborhoods, but in the beginning, I did whatever I had to do to get a deal in wholesaling. So, guys, if you have a camera, it helps. It's got the camera in it. You can make notes on it if you want. One of the most powerful tools you can do is, I don't care if you have an iPhone or an Android, is when you're driving, you'll be surprised. You always have to be looking around for address and stuff. And sometimes you can just record the address when you drive by. And hopefully you got hundreds of recordings. And then when you get back, you can take dictation. They even have software of like OCR that will recognize, I guess, translate it and transcribe it. But I don't know how to do that. So I'm not the guy to do that. That's more of a Zach thing. Okay. So what are we looking for? Okay. Guys, you're simply looking for properties with signs of distress. You're looking for distressed property. If you're going to ask me what a distressed property is, I'm going to break it down for you, okay? Number one, my favorite and most predominant one is high grass. Why? Because most people don't purposely not mow their lawn. They're usually not mowing their lawn because they have either they don't have the money to do it or they have a more pressing problem in life. We've all had them. And this is the number one high grass by far. If you're in the Southeast, it's much more predominant. Up in the North, when you get up there, I mean, you got 6 months out of the year where they don't even mow the grass. So it's not as prominent. But I would assume sometimes shoveled driveways don't get shoveled for 3 months. They look rough, or roofs. I don't know how that works up north. But we also look for dead grass. A lot of dead grass is an indicator that something could be going wrong. But I have neighborhoods where they're all dead grass, so it's no big deal because they have no irrigation. And then lack of landscaping. What do I mean by that? Trees overgrowing, a big oak tree overtaking a house. No one's cleaning it off. Guys, normal people don't let their houses go in distress. They know it devalues the house, and they know it's going to cost them. So people don't do this on purpose. Just life gets in the way. And remember, our job is to help people out as much as possible. We're not here to judge them. Okay. The next common one, this is a big thing in the South. Blue tarps on the roof means you got a leaky roof. Leaky roofs are problematic. And if you see a blue tarp and it's all weathered and it's not blue anymore, it's turned like almost grayish. You know what I'm talking about? Those are really, really primed to work with a wholesaler like you and me. Okay. And guys, this is a big one. Excessive deferred maintenance, meaning just look at the property. If you see like wood hanging down on the soffit, shingles are falling off, the property's in severe need of painting, the siding's all cracking. It's common sense. When people don't take care of a house, leave a house vacant for 1 year in any market, and I promise you, it will fall apart. Houses need attention, they need love, and most thing they need is maintenance. Okay. Now, here's a little secret one I'm going to tell you about here. The missing mailbox receptacle, one of my favorite ones. You know why it's so important? Because a lot of times the mailbox has fallen off and it's rotted off the I guess, what do they call that? The post. Okay. It's rotted. It has like wood rot in it, falls. The mail falls down. Guess what? They're not even getting the mail. So all those wholesalers out there mailing to that person, they're not getting legal notices. They're getting nothing. Only a driving for dollar person can help that person out. And that's one of my favorite ways to do driving for dollars. You find a knockdown mail receptacle, and I promise you, if you can get in contact with them, you have a great chance of doing a wholesale deal with them. Okay. And the other one is like stacks of newspapers. If you see stuff stacked up on the door, I don't suggest you open in people's mailbox, but every now and then, if you see a mailbox open and you see it crammed with junk mail, that means they're not answering the mail. Or also you'll see a green sticker in there. It says vacant house by the Postal Service. Don't touch it. But if you see it, that's a great sign that the property needs a wholesaler like really bad. So guys, this makes sense. I'm telling you, the missing mailbox, it's huge. I don't know why, but some of my best deals have come without a mailbox. Think about it. They don't get the mail. They don't get anything. It works. Okay. So guys, I'm seeing your comments. I will get to them as I get through this presentation. And let's see. Hold on, guys. I got to fix. Okay. Where was I? Stacks of newspaper on the door. And guys, boarded up windows. That's a big one. It's We get a lot of boarded up windows. And then in Florida and like the Southeast, sometimes people leave their hurricane shutters up for well past hurricane season. That usually indicates the house is going to be vacant or they got a broken window they don't want to fix. So um, let's see here. Okay. And then the other one is look for signs of long-term vacant properties. So like if you go buy a house and it looks like it's been vacant forever, like there's never been a car there, nobody's ever opened the mailbox, nobody's ever walked into the door, then that's a good sign. I would definitely put them on your list. Okay. So here's the question I get most often about driving for dollars. How often and how many driving for dollar leads do I need to get a deal? All very good questions. So number one, you have to set the frequency you do in driving for dollars. Okay. This isn't rocket science, guys. The longer you do driving for dollars, meaning the more times you do it, the more leads you're going to get and the better you're going to do it. So you got to go out at least once a week. If you're new to this business, don't be surprised to do it 2, 3, 4 times. I've seen people really, really make this work and it works well. You got to do it. So, I can't fix that. Okay. The next one. How many leads, Rick, before I get a wholesale deal? Now, some of it's going to be based on your experience, but I will tell you this. On average, you're going to need at least 150 to have a shot to get a deal. I can tell you right now, in some parts it's less, in some parts it's more, but between 100 and 200 lies the number every time. That's why I picked 150. So if you want to get 2 quality leads a week, you're going to have to do driving for dollars. I would recommend twice a week or go once a week and go twice as long and hit 2 different sets of neighborhoods and come back with at least 150 each setting. Remember, guys, the more quantity you have, the more opportunity you have. And in the beginning, you're just trying to figure things out. You've got to have quantity to make up a little bit for your skill set. But remember, we're looking for highly motivated sellers. If someone's motivated, I promise you, you will know right away. You don't have to sell them. They just want help. So, guys, if you haven't connected with this guy, Corey, this guy constantly does driving for dollars. He hasn't even been wholesaling that long. I believe under 6 months. He did the whole thing off freewholesaling.com, but he puts the work in. If you guys will put in the work, he predominantly uses driving for dollars. That's his starting vehicle. He'll add to it as he goes on. And I'm trying to give you the stuff that doesn't cost you a lot of money that will get you in the game and put money in your bank account. Okay. So remember, at least once a week, at least 150 a week, go from there. I'm setting bare minimums. I don't think anybody on this live stream is here to do the bare minimum, and it works. This is the reason why we share it. You're not going to find this in like the super sexy courses because it's honestly when they give you their 30,000 view overview of wholesaling, they're going to go tell you to do all the stuff, but they're not going to give you any specific numbers. They're going to tell you to get in a car and do it. I'm giving you it away right here. Okay. So driving for dollars lead intake. I'm going to quickly go through this. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So simply record the address, write it down. If you want to put it in your phone, if you want to take a picture, I'm not going to tell you how to organize it. I do it on a yellow pad. Decide how you want to do it from there. You then want to take that information when you get back home and you want to put it in a spreadsheet. I like Google Docs because you can share it. If you're working with someone else or you need some help with it or you have a VA down the road, it is very valuable that you can share the doc. The problem with an Excel spreadsheet is you got to save it every time. Honestly, you can do a Google Doc sheet on your phone while you're on the road. I'm not that skilled, so I'm kind of old school. I just kind of write it down. Okay. Now, you're going to have a section there. Obviously, you're going to put in the property address, the city, all that good stuff. Just have a little note section in there. So like when you see blue tarp, put like blue tarp. You can use code. You can use cheat sheets. So blue tarp, put BT, high grass, HG. Just make it simple as possible. And I can't stress this to you enough. You got to use the KISS method. And no, I don't want to give you a kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm referring to myself. The easier you make it, the better you'll do. So use these 4 checklists when you create your driving for dollars and manage it the best of your ability. If you don't like writing on a notepad and you want to do it all on your phone, that's great. Use some sort of spreadsheet like a Google Docs or something like that. Do not make this overly complicated. It is not complicated. I find people in the last 4 years, 3 years, actually 4 years, I've never seen people complicate driving for dollars so much in my life. Guys, it's a simple school. You get in your car, you get your running shoes, you get on your bike, you find beat up houses, you write down the address, and you get in contact with the owner. That's what I call simplicity. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a warning. I've talked about Coachflation here before. You know what Coachflation is? It's when you have too many coaches chasing too few wholesaling students, and they all compete on price. What used to cost $10,000 or $20,000 for wholesaling is down on sale between $2,000 and $3,000 now, and you're still not going to get information nearly as good as you get on freewholesaling.com. I'm here to tell you, our free stuff's better than 99% of the paid stuff out there. I'm talking about in the wholesaling space. Why? Because I've done this for 20 years. You just can't reinvent the wheel in this. Everyone's gotten so cute in the last 4 or 5 years. Oh, skip trace 30,000 people and do this, and you'll do. Guys, there's a limit to scaling in wholesaling. Like, that's the crazy secret. I just want to get you to make your first 100 grand. So many people skip the journey from 0 to 100,000, and then they try to do this crazy scaling. You got to master the 100K. Once you do the 100K, then you can step up your game. So I don't want to overstep on that. So someone's going to try, I guarantee you, when you get off this live and you start searching, someone's going to try to sell you on a driving for dollars course. Now, I'm not calling anybody out any personally, but I'm just telling you, if someone's willing to pay thousands of dollars for a driving for dollars course, you are going to be giving up a lot of money in the next year learning wholesaling. Guys, get in your car, find distressed properties, and contact these owners. I'm going to give you a few more detailed steps to do it, but I'm here to tell you, do not buy a driving for dollars course. It's been around forever. Nobody has rights to it. It's very basic and simple. I've seen driving for dollars courses out there. I saw one as high as, I think, $3,500. And honestly, I'm in shock. So if you go to freewholesaling.com, we teach you in more detail, and I actually shot a video, and we go through exactly what to look through. I shot it from the car, so it's like really detailed. Guys, it's free. Please do not pay somebody for a skill. Honestly, you could go learn this at the DMV. So don't do it. So if not, go over to freewholesaling.com. I'm warning you, Coachflation's real. And if you get sucked in on this stuff, I just don't get it. I'm fine if somebody will sell a course, but please don't sell a course just on driving for dollars. It's like, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to move on because I don't get in trouble here. Okay. So don't get cute with technology. And you know what I mean, where I'm going with this. You don't need it. I've never, ever used technology. The most technology you use is this right here, your phone. Okay. That's the highest piece of technology you need. So many corporations are out there go, listen, I have this incredible app that's going to make your driving for dollars so proficient. It's going to be so easy. I'm here to tell you guys, why do you think I do not offer any of these products, me and Zach do? Because we've tried them. They just didn't do anything more for us. It felt good, but it didn't make me any more money. And then I was paying them hundreds of dollars. I'm like, are we doing any more business? No, kill it. I'm done. Okay. So I'm not going to call them out. There's multiple ones. Just so you know, if you guys use Batch, they actually have one built in, I believe, and you don't have to go out and buy it. Since I like their other products, I'm not crazy about the whole like driving for dollars or thing, but if I was going to use one, I would definitely use, I would just stick to Batch. So if you have an account with them, just don't go out and buy it just for Batch. It doesn't make sense. So I'll show that later so you guys can get an idea of how that works. So guys, all of these apps and stuff, they are not going to buy the house for you. They're not going to make you a successful wholesaler. If you wanted to use someone to do driving for dollars, then there's an argument for that. But honestly, until you get your first 100 grand, don't bother doing it. It's not going to make you any more money. I'm just going to save you the hassle. Anybody will sell you a solution for anything in this market. It's crazy. Okay. So how do we research the driving for dollars lead? So you've gone out, you've gotten your list. Okay. You wrote it down, you put it in your phone, whatever you did. So the next thing is you got to skip tracing. So if you guys never heard of skip tracing, it's just a fancy word for looking up someone's contact information, particularly their phone number. Okay. So once you get their phone number, so Rick, how do I get their phone number? If you're going to do this manually and you don't have a big budget, True People Search, White Pages, Spokio's a low end search. I think it's 10 or $20 now. Those are the free ways to do it. They'll give you multiple phone numbers and you want to look up the property owner. So before you do this, what you want to do is you can cross-reference the address with the property appraiser site. I think I put it on the bottom of the slide. I screwed up. I apologize. The paid services, if you guys want to use like Batch or any of these other services, it's up to you. Batch is probably one of the better ones. Use a skip trace service. It's going to cost you 10 to 14 cents, depending on what level or what service you use. It's really good if you have like 500 leads and you don't have time and you don't want to do it manually. Just make sure you account for it in your budget. Okay. So there's a paid version and there's a free. You guys decide how you want to do that. Depends on what your budget and your time frame is. Okay. You cross-reference your local property appraisers. You get the owner's name. You can see if they live there locally, if they live out of town. You can find out a lot. You can find out when they bought the property. And you guys want to add this to your spreadsheet. Okay. And guys, this is where like down the road, if you want to hire a VA, they can do a lot of this stuff for you. That's why you want to use like a Google Doc sheet. It works really, really well. So, and the really cool thing is a lot of VAs for $3 to $4 an hour will do this while you're sleeping at night. So in the morning, you got all the information. They cross-reference, they skip trace for you. And then it's just up to you. Just go dialing for dollars when you do it. Okay. So now we've driven for dollars. We've written down the address. We've done our research. Now you have to pick your marketing method for driving for dollars. Okay. I'm going to go through them all. You kind of choose which one you want to do. Whichever one resonates with you, it's completely up to you. If you guys have any suggestions of any other ways, the old days was we used to go door knock them. This is how I got started a lot. A different world back then. No ring doorbells. People were a little bit nicer. It just people were used to people selling their stuff at the door. Fast forward now, 2023, ring doorbells, vicious dogs, and nobody wants anybody at their front door anymore. So it used to be a real treat. Like when I was a kid growing up, it was a treat when people came to your house. I think it's the opposite now. Like, who's at the door? So door knocking's a lot tougher. I save door knocking for like a last resort. Okay. Because do you know in one of the markets I do here, door knocking can get you arrested. You actually have to go to court and you can be handcuffed for it. It's ridiculous. Ask me how I know. Okay. So I don't want to put anybody in a position, just make sure it's safe to do that. And the only time you do it is during the day. And I would have somebody there to keep an eye on you. The next one's cold calling. That's simply taking the owner's information, particularly their phone number, and just reaching out to them and talking to them. Guys, do not complicate this. I've been over this 1,000 times. Go to freewholesaling.com. I'll teach you word for word what to say, but you're simply looking to see if they're the owner of the property and if they're interested in selling. Because a lot of them are going to say no. And for that fact is you don't want to waste time spending all this time with people that don't want to do business. Find the ones that want to work with you and spend the most time with them. Okay. Now there's no particular order in here. I've done them all. Okay. The next one's direct mail. The old days, we used to hand address an envelope, stick a letter in there, write a note, and actually got a pretty good response rate. It's just slow. And honestly, it's probably my least favorite method to do it, but sometimes these are valuable. Okay. The last one, which is probably the most popular going on the market, is called the reverse driving for dollars method. If you're not familiar, this is where you want to pay attention. And I'd like to tell you, I came up with this exclusively, but I've worked with people in multiple markets, and we tried this 4 years ago, and it worked really, really well. And it's a really, really cool method. So let me show you how it works. Okay. So reverse driving for dollars is you're going to go and get your government list. So earlier this week, what was it? I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was day 8. So go to day 8. It'll be in freewholesaling.com. We teach you how to pull government lists. They're 100% free. You guys can get them. There is no barriers to entry here. Remember, you're going to have to be persistent because there's a lot of resistance out there. And I explained why. So you have to understand that part. It used to be much easier. It's getting a little bit more challenging. Get your government list. And I do like them somewhat in this order. Maybe I'd move water shutoffs above tax delinquencies, but code violations, pre-foreclosures, foreclosures, tax delinquencies, water shutoffs, these are dynamite lists. If you can get that list, okay, and you get addresses. Now, here's the challenging part. You have to map out how to do this. Now, you can simply canvas a neighborhood and do the reverse driving for dollar method, or you can pick a particular list and go car by car to do this. So first step in reverse driving for dollars is locating your list and putting it together. Okay. Guys, don't worry. This is recorded. You can refer back to it 1,000 times. Just go to our YouTube channel. It'll be right there. Okay. Guys, real simple. You're going to create a sticky note. Use yellow, use purple. I find yellow works the best. And basically, you put it on there. Now, guys, you can make a stamp. You can handwrite this. You can even have a printer do it for you. I wouldn't spend a lot of money. I have a quick question about your house. It's Rick. Put a phone number on there. And listen, place them on the doors you want or canvas an entire neighborhood of maybe somewhere you want to buy. And then here's the deal. You're going to get inbound calls. And you ready for this? People are going to call you. So people are like, okay, what's the callback rate doing this? Depends on your list. So it can be anywhere from 2 to 5% callback rate. So you're going to have to do and reverse engineer your numbers. So you can't just put out 10 sticky notes and expect 50 phone calls. It's not going to work that way. Here's the big difference maker. When they call, you actually have to answer the phone. So I'd use a Google voice number. I would use a virtual phone number like Bumber.com. Find anyone you want. They're everywhere. And when they call, just answer it like a regular person. Don't be a fancy business. And just say, listen, somebody left a note on my deal. Are you Rick? Yeah. You got a second? I got a couple questions about the house. And you just go into it. Are you the owner of the house? Are you interested in selling it? And if that all goes well, go through your 4 qualifying questions. Remember, condition, time frame, price, and motivation. And now I do motivation first. I just kind of put them all in order there. If you guys go to freewholesaling.com, we teach the whole thing in much, much more detail. So anyways, place on doors, answer the phones. Guys, the reverse driving for dollar method works really well. Ask Corey, ask people doing this. It works well. You know why? Because if I had 50 addresses or 100 addresses put out there, if I knock on every one of those doors, try to have a conversation with everyone, and understanding 95% of them don't want me there, then why not just deal with the 5% that want you there? And what's better than they just call you? And people always go, well, Rick, what if somebody like catches me putting a sticker on the door? Who cares? So one of 2 ways can happen. If they go, listen, I got this sticker on my door. Are you the guys that put it there? I go, yeah, I just put it there. Hey, do you guys actually buy houses? And that's when you go, yeah, I can talk to you about it. I'm just the guy who puts the stickers on the door, but I can take your information. The other way is if they chew you out and they tear you up and go, listen, I'm just delivering the message here. I work for somebody. And it's true. Just be gracious of people's private property and respect it. Don't try to shove it down their mouth. Remember, you are not here to convince people to sell their house. You're here to help them out. So with that being said, that is our driving for dollars, guys. People so overlook this method and it works well.